So, as I said earlier, all trees are flowering trees. So every single tree produces flowers of some sort. You just mightn't see them. They might be microscopic. They could emulate leaves in some way. They could be green. And so they could be tiny. They camouflage themselves in, but they most certainly are always there. So imagine if we had a tree. This would be like the most amazing tree ever, with their beautiful branches. This is my fantasy tree. Could be the tree. So this is a mature tree. So it gets to this stage. All its beautiful branches are happening. Yay! I would like one of these trees. And of course it's covered with a whole lot of leaves of whatever sort as well. It gets to a point where it's mature enough to begin flowering. And as I said, these flowers could be tucked away within the leaves, and they could look like leaves, they could be microscopic, or they could be more noticeable in a fashion that we recognize as a flower that we see around the place on the ground. So we end up first with probably a little bud. So these little flowers, they're little points, they could be cones as well. They're small things, and they'll be all over the tree. So this is the start of it, and they could be any color, as I said. After that, they then begin to do the thing that we call flowering. So when we're saying the tree's flowering, is it a flowering tree? It usually indicates this period of time when we go from these little things like this to something that's more recognizable as an open flower. That's it. I'm an artist. They're my open flowers. Oh, they're off the page too, aren't they? So we end up with something that's probably like a flame tree flower. We end up with something, a lot of the times, not always, it's recognizable as a flower. After that, pollination starts to occur, and this is the way that the male and the female parts of the flower, or some plants have a male flower and a female flower. They might have both of those flowers on the same plant, the same tree, or they may be on separate ones. So a pollinator has to mix those two pollens together in order for us to have fertilization, because remember, these are the sexual parts of the plant, the tree. So it could be a bee. This is my awesome bee. Yay! Could be a butterfly, could be a bird, could be all manners of things. So the basic thing is a pollinator gets the pollen from the male flower to the female flower, or the male part to the female part, and vice versa. So fertilization can actually occur. So pollination will happen, and then of course fertilization will happen. So that's this sort of mixture happens, and after that happens, we then end up with the fruit. Now the fruit could be the way you think of fruit. We all think of fruit first off. I think of fruit. It could be like an orange or an apple, but it could also be a smaller pod-like sort of thing. It could be anything, but what it is it's the fruit of the tree, and it's formed pretty much where the flower was, and it's a small thing, and it contains the seeds. After this happens, then we then get we've got the fruit and the seed development, and then we'll get dispersal. So either the fruit will fall off the tree and it will go into, the seeds will go into the ground, or this will burst open and the seeds will flutter off on the wind and they'll end up going into the ground that way, or they'll fall off the tree straight down that way. So there's a few different ways that can happen. They can attach to animals as well. They can just burst open and then attach to an animal on lower trees as well. And that's the cycle, and then we get it all happening again. We have germination happening down here in the ground, and then the tree grows up again. So all trees have flowers. That's pretty much a very simplistic explanation of the process, and I know it's a bit cutesy as well, but I hope that explains it for everybody. Okay, bye.